Welcome to Beyond the Coverage. I'm Chris Horner. In today's edition, well, the Tour de France starts tomorrow and there's nothing to talk about. I don't know what to tell you guys. There's nothing out there. There's information all over. It's crazy. It's insanity the day before the Tour de France with 4 big-time hitters that are going to start tomorrow's 24 Tour de France, and all of them have some question marks around them. Jonas Article put out an article where he said he's hoping that he gets better throughout the first week. He doesn't know if his form's 100%. So you don't know exactly what Visma Bike will do in tomorrow's stage 1 of the Tour de France. I mean, we're talking about some massive climbs on stage 1 of the Tour de France, and Jonas Article's not sure where his form is. Do we believe him? Do we not believe him? I think I kind of believe him that he might need another week of training. In his article, though, he's talking about giving so many thanks to his family. This is what I love about Jonas Article. He certainly says the right words 100% about his family. When I was racing back in the day, I remember doing Romandie and bringing, then it was my girlfriend, but now she's my wife. But when you're traveling over to the races, back in the day with Lotto, there was arguments with the management about allowing my wife to stay at the same hotel that I was. And finally, the two directors were arguing back and forth with each other. One director just said, hey, Chris could either have her here at the hotel with them, or he's going to have to travel to and from whatever hotel she's at and then back to our hotel, so we might as well keep her in the hotel. Well, they kept her in the hotel. I won a stage and put the race leader's jersey on. And after that moment, my then girlfriend Megan was allowed to come to any event she wanted to, and now she's my wife. So it worked out really good. Jonas Article always has his family around him, and why does he have that? Well, it's always bringing some kind of comfort level around Jonas Article when times are difficult. You don't always get along with your wife, but you don't always get along with your director sportif, and you don't always get along with your teammates. I could take you back to the 23 Vuelta a España, where Jonas Article, Primož Article, and Sepp Kuss certainly weren't getting along in those mountain stages when Sepp Kuss was wearing the race leader's red jersey there at the Vuelta a España. So at those moments, it's nice to be able to jump into your wife's hotel room and just have a calm place where you know that this is the Zen place here. This is where everything's going to be calm. Everyone's going to agree with what I'm saying. Everybody is going to focus to make sure that I'm racing the best that I possibly can. And hopefully you come out of your wife's room, or a very good girlfriend like my wife was back in the day with Romandie, and you come out of that room more relaxed, more focused, and everything's going to be okay kind of mentality. So when you see Jonas Article's wife and his family coming around at the Tour de France stages, that's going to keep him calm, that's going to keep him relaxed, and that's why Visma Bike allow that kind of stuff to happen. It really does help out. Now let's go into 3 of the other guys. Primož Article, in his interview, he's talking about how it's not going to be his last Tour de France, so he doesn't have to win this year. There's more coming later. He's in a happy place. Again, he's putting out more information about how he needs to be gelling with the team, and everything's focused on him and the team and not the competition. That's a good way the exact way you want to think about it going into the Tour de France. You cannot forget Tadej Pogačar, Primož Article, or Jonas Article, without a doubt. But you do, coming into the Tour de France, need to make sure that yourself is in fantastic form, the best you can arrive in, and hopefully your lieutenants, your first and second lieutenants, when we're talking Vlasov and Jai Hindley, hopefully those 2 riders at least are on fantastic form. So if you need them to destroy the other riders while going up the climb, you have them there. Or if the other riders are hurting you or possibly destroying you, you have some help back there from Vlasov and Jai Hindley on the final climbs. That is 100% correct too. Now we go over to Tadej Pogačar, the Slovenian. The Slovenian that can pull out 7 watts per kilo going up the climbs. Not everybody can pull out 7 watts per kilo, but I'm pretty certain Tadej Pogačar is pulling out some 7 watts per kilo going up the climbs. And so what he's thinking right now is, well, I had fantastic form going from the Giro. I demolished the peloton there. I've put out some fantastic numbers in training, but he said he had COVID. He said he had COVID infect him for 1 day. He had to take a little easy day and ride the trainer and the rollers at his house and not go outside and train. And so he lost some training from COVID. And will there be some COVID lingering effects when we get into the Tour de France? It was only 10 days ago that he said he had COVID. So lingering effects could easily still be there. I can't tell you how much. When I had COVID last November, I had lingering effects for a month. But I'm 51 years of age then, 52 now. Actually, I was 52 then because it was after my birthday. So I was 52 years of age, And so maybe it affected me longer than Tadej Pogačar, and everyone's going to be affected different. But let's say it possibly does have some lingering effects on Tadej Pogačar after getting COVID. Well, maybe tomorrow in stage 1, after I've been telling you for a long time that Tadej Pogačar's UAE Team Emirates team is going to blow stuff up on stage 1. Maybe he saw a little bit of lingering effects, and maybe UAE Team Emirates are backed off the throttle a little bit on stage 1, which would be good for Jonas Vingegaard if he is a little bit under form. So tomorrow on stage 1, if you see UAE Team Emirates racing a little bit calm, not like last year's stage 1 when they were blowing stuff up, and stage 2 when they were blowing it up on Jaskibel climb, now if you see them riding a little bit more calm, if I'm one of the other 3 favorites, I'm thinking, well, maybe 10 days ago that COVID was still lingering around here, and that's why UAE Team Emirates are a little bit calmer. But remember, UAE Team Emirates come stacked with climbers, and they have Yates, who just got done winning Tour of Swiss, Adam Yates. We have Almeida, who got second at Tour of Swiss, where those guys were sharing off victories. One win in one day, one win in the next, the other win in the next, and the other win in the individual time trial at Tour of Swiss. So UAE team members are coming with one of the stacked teams. The best ever? I don't know about the best ever, because I remember 2012 doing it with Team Sky up there. That might have been one of the best ever, but maybe this is the best ever with UAE team members, because Adam Yates is on fine form. Almeida's on fine form. And then I read an article this morning about Ayuso that he's thinking that it would be nice if he could get up on a podium or possibly win a stage. He knows he's 100% focused for Tadej Pogačar winning the general classification, but he says maybe there's an option for Ayuso himself to be able to win a stage if Tadej Pogačar has some extended amount of time and he's allowed to get up the road and go up and gain some time in the break. I don't see that happening. I mean, the kid Ayuso, he's 21 years of age, so he's going to have hopes for sure. But when you're Ayuso, I don't see the Peloton's going to let Ayuso go up the road when he time trials the way he does, when he rides the way he does, and when he's on form. He did get third at the Vuelta a España, but when I'm looking at this list and I was reading the article from Ayuso, I'm thinking, I don't see any way that could happen. You have Adam Yates that's still in front of you in terms of Super Domestique, and Almeida might be more of a diesel on the last climb, but he looked like he was becoming a little more of a diesel at Tour of Swiss, less of a diesel and more of power at Tour of Swiss than we've seen in the past when he was dropping everyone and riding 5K on the front, while Ayuso crashed on stage 5 of Dauphiné. So I'm thinking Ayuso right now, well, he's the third lieutenant for Tadej Pogačar. There's going to be Adam Yates first, and then there's going to be Almeida, and then it's Ayuso. Now, before the crash at Tour of Swiss there for Ayuso, I thought you would have flipped Almeida around and Ayuso would be second. But even if he's second, that's still behind Adam Yates. Adam Yates is an explosive climber, and that's what Tadej Pogačar is going to want. So UAE team members, if Tadej Pogačar is 100% on form, if he's pulling 7 watts per kilo, like I know the Slovenian can do, if he has that kind of form, well, I think Ayuso is going to be doing work early on the final climb, if not the penultimate climb, and then we're going to see Almeida, but certainly we're going to see Adam Yates as the last rider for the Super Domestique. So I don't see Ayuso being able to get that stage win, unless, of course, UAE team members go back to their strange tactics from the 2021 Tour de France, where they were letting Brandon McNulty go up the road following attacks, and they were letting riders like Rui Costa go up the road following attacks, which I never agreed with. It's a possibility they could go back to those old school tactics that they used in 2021 there at the Tour de France, but I don't see that happening. So I don't see Ayuso given the opportunity to win stages unless Tadej Pogačar has just completely blown everything off the map in terms of the fight for the general classification. Maybe it's a possibility, but I still see Adam Yates riding and having the better possibility like we saw at last year's Tour de France, where he's the Super Domestique coming up the last climb. So he's going to be higher on general classification than Almeida, and he's going to be higher on general classification than Ayuso for sure. So I don't see the story that I read there from Ayuso coming out exactly the way he sees it at 21 years of age. Now the last rider, Remco Evenepoel, the last of the 4 giant riders starting tomorrow's Tour de France in 2024. Remco says he was sick too, right? He skipped the Belgium National Championships. And in his interview, he said he was feeling a little bit off, but he went out and did a little bit of training, of course, during the same day of the Belgium National Championships. Because it sounds like he just had a little bit of a sore throat or something, or, you know, it was one of those things that I used to say when I called in school and called in sick at school and then went over to Disneyland with my parents or something. So maybe that's what Remco Evenepoel had too. I don't know, but he looks like he's sharp. He said he's dropped some weight. He has some good riders backing him up with Mikel Landa. Mikel Landa's form's always a little bit up and down. You never know exactly what kind of Mikel Landa you're going to get, but if his form's on high, he's certainly going to be the #1 super lieutenant there for Remco Evenepoel. The Spaniard will be. And then when you look behind him, it's Ilan van Wilder. That's going to be the #2 super lieutenant there for Remco Evenepoel. Ilan van Wilder's not going to be able to go deep into the final climb. We have never seen that. If he does, his level has come up. So Mikel Landa has to be the ace card for Remco Evenepoel. That form has to be 100%. We saw him pretty good when we go back to Dauphiné, but not fantastic because he was raced in Dauphiné and had the green light to go for general classification there, but was always back there with Remco Evenepoel. So that shows that his form's not quite where it needs to be yet because he wasn't able to climb with Jorgensen, Carlos Rodriguez, of course with Primož Roglič and such. There was still a bunch of riders up there. Even Derek G was up there in that front group on the last stage 8. Remember, he was up there till 3 guys were left. So Derek G, Israel Premier Tech, was still climbing better than Mikel Landa. So Mikel Landa's got to get a little bit better. Remco Evenepoel, we know he's got to get a little bit better. Ilan van Wilder, well, he's got to get a little bit better, and we haven't ever seen him at the level that he needs to be at the Tour de France. So when we start comparing all 4 of the teams, Remco Evenepoel has the biggest obstacle when we're talking about his first and second lieutenants not being up there quite at the level of the other 3 teams. And Jonas Vingegaard has one of the biggest lieutenants you can ever ask for because he has Wout van Aert. Clearly right behind him in terms of climbing, it's going to be Jorgensen and that's going to be Wilco Kelderman. But Wout van Aert can be the guy that can save Tour de France's for any team that he's riding for. And if he's 100% on form, which I would expect nothing less from the big guy, then Wout van Aert could be the guy that saves his first week of racing for Jonas Vingegaard to be able to find a little bit more form and all of a sudden find that 7 watts per kilo by the time he gets into the individual time trial on stage 7. He's got to make it through stage 1. He's got a hard stage 2. Then he's got stage 4, of course. Then he's got the individual time trial. And then when you get into stage 9 on the gravel day, the final day of the first week of racing at the Tour de France, a rider like Wout van Aert will be priceless to Jonas Vingegaard to get him through this first 9 days of the Tour de France so he can find that 7 watts per kilo to battle against Tadej Pogačar, Primož Roglič, and Remco Evenepoel. It's going to be a fantastic Tour de France. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys on tomorrow's Butterfly Effect for stage 1 of the Tour de France real soon.